Hello everyone, this is Elena of the Witch's Box, and today we're here with another episode of Witch's BookTube. And today we're going to be talking about a fairly new and just released book called HausMagick, Transform Your Home with Witchcraft by Feldmann. It's a beautiful hardbound book. This is the back. And let me read you the back cover and then I will get into a lot about this book. So the back reads, discover your inner witch and bring magic into your home, combining the principles of interior design with traditional witchcraft, tarot, crystal healing, energy clearing, and astrology. Feldmann, founder of the beloved store House Witch, makes it easy for you to transform your home into a space of comfort, protection, and balance. There are a couple of things that called me to this book because, as you all know, and I've been saying it over and over and over again throughout all these videos, is that I have a massive stack of books that are to be read that I'm wanting to get through for all of you. However, seeing this book, there are a couple things that called to me. One, HausMagick, the title. I love the idea of creating intention spaces, and without really knowing what the book was about, I just projected this idea right onto this book, like, oh, maybe it's about this thing that I love. And the other thing that called to me was the picture of this room on the cover, because there's this idea, right, that if you're a witch, that your home needs to look like, you know, something out of Stevie Nicks' history photos, right, where it's cool, you've got hundreds of plants and all these beautiful crystals everywhere, and it's just this big gypsy den of amazing trinkets all over the place, and you can't even find an empty space to put a cup. Like, there's something really beautiful about that, but there are other ways to create sacred space. It doesn't look like this overabundance of things. And let me say that by no means am I a minimalist, because there's this, it's been going on for a while, this trend and fad towards get rid of everything and own 5 things. I am not that girl. I am not that girl. But I do have a Virgo moon, and I love spaces that are decorated beautifully, comfortably with 1, 2, maybe 3 focal sacred items, and that's it. There's something really, I don't know, refreshing about that. And I love that this, I don't know, it just conveyed what might look like a regular, well put together home that isn't overly cluttered. So that called to me. I was curious to see what that was about. I'm also going to read to you really quickly the bio. So Feldmann is the owner and founder of House Witch, a company devoted to helping people heal their spaces and love their homes, based in Salem, Massachusetts. She lives in downtown Salem in her magical house with her wife and 2 cats. And then she's got all her social media links in the back flap, and I will link all that below. Right off the bat, I've mentioned the cover image that I really loved. She identifies this book and says, this is a spell book of interior alchemy, which I found to be really beautifully said. And I, right away, before I even started to read the book, I just went through and looked at all the pictures, right? She's an interior decorator, so I'm all about spaces and homes, and I love the imagery. This is her. Oh, here. This is her. I also had an acquaintance years ago, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, who had been to her store and said it was a really lovely experience. This is an image of her in the store. So there's an introduction, there's a Witching 101 chapter, which of course covers things like astrology, the lunar phases, stones, aromatherapy, magic, spells. I'm going to paraphrase here because I underlined it and I actually don't know what page it's on, but she says that spells are basically prayer with props. I love that. That was a perfect, concise, totally understandable way of defining spells. So she addresses magic for the home in 6 ways, or through the lens of, or through 6 different lenses, I guess I should say. And each of those are chapters. So manifesting, clearing, protection, comfort, harmony, and balance. And within each of those chapters, she talks about a different aspect of decorating, of creating magic in the home. So there are recipes for like clearing sprays, crystal elixirs, what specific crystals to use for specific intentions. She talks about something that was so beautiful, creating like an intention for each space in your home. I'm all about that. I'm all about creating mission statements for like yourself, for your like entire life, for your business, for your work, mission statements for your relationships. But the idea of having a mission or an intention or a vision for specific rooms in your home, I love that. That completely got my head kind of rolling into like, oh God, if I really created intention space for each room in my home, then how would I decorate it? What would I put there? What would I be doing in there? How does that kind of intention then contribute to the energy of that room and how to protect that energy in the room. All these things just kind of triggered all these amazing thoughts in my head. I loved that. It was such a great little nugget of magic. I loved it. She talks about the magic of crystal healing and using crystals for each room to help with that. It covers a lot. There's also really lovely recipes for food. You know, I'm seeing this more and more, and it makes me so happy. And I could be just completely behind the times. I just love that we're including recipes for food in our magical books. Love it. So there are quite a few. There's spells like the Healthy Boundaries Bath, how to set up your bathroom, simple visualization for energy awareness. I just love the idea of boundaries being discussed here. These are things that are being discussed in a book about interior decoration. So I really appreciate it because it gives foundation for the fact that where you live is your haven, it's your sanctuary, it's your home, and how you set it up, how you exist in it really affects who you are in your life. And I also want to say that this talks specifically about people who have a home, but a lot of you have emailed me like, look, I live with my family, they don't know I'm a witch, I only have a room, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to set it up. I think that this book can give you ideas for how to set up your space in such a way where it doesn't have to be like full-on Stevie Nicks vibe. It can be that you've got one beautiful sacred item that anchors your room energetically that other people may not know about or understand or even identify as witchy, but is sacred and significant and meaningful to you. I love that. I love that. Cleaning products, she goes into cleaning products and how to create some of those for yourself so that those are also magical processes that you use so that when you're cleaning your kitchen with your magically imbued cleaner, it's an opportunity for more magic so that when you're cleaning your windows, that's an act of magic. It's a ritual, it's a spell, and you can use products that have been imbued with that energetic as well. This book is not going to give you in-depth information on how and why magic works, but it does talk about the home and how you can use magic within the home and the magic of your home to enhance and support your life. It's a little bit different from what we've been talking about so far in the books that we've been reviewing, but I loved it. It's an easy read. It covers things like scent, the importance of scent in your home, incenses to burn and create that help support different intentions. Love it. In the kitchen, it talks about comfort and taste and how to put together foods that support you magically as well. I wanted to show this to you because it's a full moon chocolate zucchini cake, and come on, you guys. Shouldn't we all be making this cake and eating it? Look how beautiful it is. One of the abundances, or one of the nectars of abundances for harvesting the honey, which is a program that we have on the Witch's Box, where for 6 months we work together to bring in abundance through the 6 nectars of abundance, and one of those nectars is pleasure. It's kind of a big topic to get into now, but pleasure is an important part of how we take care of ourselves, how we sustain ourselves, and it's important to make a distinction between pleasure that is superficial, that is in the moment, but destructive in the long term. Like for instance, let's say cocaine, I don't know, but cocaine may feel good right now, but in the long term, it's going to cause depletion energetically, depletion of your health, right? So it's a pleasure that is not a sustainable, long-term, nourishing pleasure, as opposed to pleasures that feed you, propel you forward, enhance your health, enhance your state of being, and enhance your growth. There's a distinction there, and I know I'm going way off topic, but let's bring it back to the book. She addresses the importance of comfort in your home, and to me, that triggered that was code for me for pleasure, the ways that we feel good in our home and how important that is discussed here. And she provides you with ways to support that experience, which I think is a beautiful thing, because if we're not comfortable in our own homes, everything in our lives becomes just disrupted because we are constantly in a place of discomfort and there's no place to come back to where we are in sanctuary, in haven, where we are able to retreat and nourish and feed ourselves. In that sense, I love this book because it kind of brings that attention to how do you create comfort in your home through the things that you purchase or the things that you put in your home. And by the way, she talks a lot about doing these things in a simple way that doesn't cost you a lot of money, which is important. She talks about ways to create comfort, not just by like your furniture and your items, but also energetically by the tools that you use to clear the energy in your home in a manner that supports both your home and how it creates comfort and safety and pleasure for you. Loved it. Loved it. Here's who I recommend this book for. I don't know that I want to recommend it for everyone, because I recognize that not everyone is, like for instance, my husband has much less need for a specific type of home space, where I'm a complete homebody. Even though we travel full time, I need home environment to be my haven, my retreat, a place that looks specifically in a certain way in order for me to feel rejuvenated. If it's too chaotic, if it's too cluttered, I am not on my A game at all. I'm constantly uncomfortable, and some people are not like that. Some people have different needs. So if you tend to be a homebody, you really feel fed and nourished by being home. You have a sense of or a need to always come home. Not necessarily that you never want to leave the house, but although that can be it too. But you have an anchor at home that is a very obvious feed for you or a nourishment for you. This is a great book that will give you a lens as to how to create a much more aligned, supportive, energetic environment for yourself. I really enjoyed it. I'm totally wanting to go to her store just to be in the space and feel her out, feel the space out. But beautiful. So you get recipes for food, for mists, for clearing sprays, for herb bundles, how to create elixirs with crystals, which I thought was great. Oh, and I think I mentioned this already, but I really appreciated that for each of those intentions that she mentions, comfort and protection and manifestation, she has lists of different crystals to use for that. She has a great recommended reading list. So there's that. She talks about vision boards, which I'm a sucker for. It's a beautiful, lovely book. I really, really appreciated it. So there you go. It's a great read. I highly recommend it. So this is a hardcover. You can only get this book as a hardcover or an audiobook. Okay, so it's pricey because it's a hardcover. In the United States, it's $25.99. In Canada, it's $31.99. Of course, if you do it through Amazon, it's a little cheaper. The audiobook is much cheaper. And if you buy the audiobook, you get a link to download PDFs. I think she calls it an enhancement. And so the places in which she has recipes and diagrams, you have a downloadable PDF that you can reference if you get just the audiobook, right? It's because there are things that she refers to that are visual in the book that you're not going to get if it's an audiobook. So you'd still get the experience, but you know me, I love the book. It's very lovely. It's a great design book. I loved it. So I recommend it for those of you who love home, basically. That's it. I wanted to share with you what I'm going to be sharing next week, but then I saw this other book and I changed my mind. So I'm actually not going to tell you what I'm going to bring up next week. However, it'll be juicy. So there it is. HausMagick, Transform Your Home with Witchcraft by Erica Feldmann. I will link all the information below. If you've read it, because I know this book is making the rounds, let me know what you think. Can we post pictures of our homes on a YouTube comment section? I don't even know if that's possible, but I would love to see some of your home spaces. Anyway, you can or not, depending on what we can do on YouTube, but yeah, I loved it. I loved it. And I'd love to see more variety as to how we witchify our environment. That's not even a word, but there you go. Have a wonderful week, and we will talk, I'm sure, on all the social medias, and I will talk to you again next Monday. Take care.